All right, I'm annoyed, but let's do this overnight live feed update. If you don't want any BB28 live feed spoilers, now would be a good time to scroll away. So, like I said, in the most recent update I gave, they're going to use the power veto on Lyric, and it is just so stupid to me. I'm so frustrated and annoyed with all three of these people. Devins just doesn't think for himself. He just only does what Dee and Angela tell him to do. That's been very obvious. Dee and Angela are so blinded by their distrust of Drew, and they even acknowledged last night that like they're the ones that set him up to play this kind of game. They continue to act with Devins as if they're not going to turn on Drew fully until like they're down to just the crossovers, but that's such a crock of shit. They've already like planned out their reasoning for nominating him and whatever. But it just like logically and action wise doesn't really make sense for Devins. And I'll also be completely honest, if Rome leaves on Thursday, then like I guess it's fine. I don't know. But really, like, Devins made this big move, and now he's trying to do a little bit of damage control because he realized, like, this isn't Survivor where I make a big move and they immediately leave. This is Big Brother where I make a big move and they may stay. And I make a big move and I still have to live with them for 4 days before I even find out if they stay. So he's really been stewing on it the last couple of days of like how to do damage control and what's going to be the most beneficial. And I mean, every single nominee gave him a pretty decent pitch to have the veto used on them. The writing is on the wall for pretty much everyone in the house, aside from like Mallory, apparently, that the plan is to, nominate Rome as a replacement option. Evans, and this part I agree with, is not going to use the power veto on Jason because he needs Jason to be in the blockbuster in order to beat Rome. And I agree with that. And he told Jason that. When Jason came up with the pitch, Devins pretty much told him, like, hey, I'm really more so between the two girls because I need you to be in the blockbuster. I need you to beat Rome. And so, not going to use it on Jason. Lyric and Melody, honestly, all Lyric said is just like the normal, basic Big Brother use the veto on me pitch of like, if I get HOH, I'm not going to put you on the block. She says, if I get HOH, you're never ever going on the block. I guess adding the never ever makes it more serious. I don't know. But Melody had a really good pitch. And honestly, I really thought that it was going to be used on Melody because Devins genuinely seems to have like a better like conversation with her. They talked about how they kind of got on the wrong foot, but this veto could be used to get back on track together. Use this as an action to show trust, and from there they can kind of continue building that relationship. She promised that if she got HOH in the next like so many weeks, she would not nominate him as they continue to work on, building this relationship. She also promised that however he wants her to vote this week, she will vote that way. And she also promised that if he is on the block anytime soon, she will not be a vote to evict him and she will help campaign for him to be the one to stay. That's more than just saying, I'm not going to put you on the block if I win HOH, because Lyric can go this whole season and not win HOH. So, like, what benefit is that really at the end of the day? On top of that, like I said, this whole conversation was Devins and Melody talking about, like, building trust and starting to have a working relationship and this and that and the other. And after the conversation throughout the day yesterday, she was, like, getting a sense of how people are feeling about Jason and Rome, and how people will potentially be leaning towards voting this week, because Devin shared with her that he is very concerned that he causes this big blow up, he does this replacement nominee, and then Rome loses the blockbuster and still he stays. He's concerned that he doesn't have the votes. And the reason he's concerned about that is because it has gotten back to him several times that Chuck and Camus aren't necessarily sold on Rome leaving because they want dudes there. Really. And they do go back and forth. I haven't heard them say it in a couple of days, but they definitely have talked about it, and it's a long way till Thursday. So that's two people. When the numbers are so closely together, that's two people already that may not end up voting that way. We'll have to wait and see. But so Melody went around kind of putting out feelers for people on Rome's side of the house. And then last night she goes up to the HOH room and discusses that information with Devins and gives another pitch. And Devins pretty much that he'll be using the veto on Lyric. He says that his mind isn't made up, but he gave all the reasons that he's using it on Lyric, because according to him, if he uses, because Rome did come up and make a pitch as well. And Rome basically says, if you don't put me on the block, then we pretend like none of this happened. Or you can put me on the block, but save Lyric in the process, and we can still basically pretend like none of this happened. And apparently Devins thinks that that is a better deal, even though he has told literally everyone that he knows that Rome has every reason to not stick to that deal. So, Melody has talked shit on Devins, 100%. But she is a player that thinks more based on logic and numbers. And she knows that that side has the numbers right now. To where Lyric is just going where the wind blows and doesn't know what she's doing. And you never know what to expect from her. She can be with you today and somewhere else tomorrow. Just none of it makes any logical sense to me. I do think that this is going to be a mistake. I do see a world where Jason wins Blockbuster and Melody leaves rather than Rome. I do see that as a possibility. And yeah, it's so dumb. But that's what the plan for today is. I wanted to respond to this comment because you are correct. They do view Melody as more of a threat than Lyric, because it's their perception that Lyric is just not really playing the game. And Lyric is definitely not playing as hard as Melody, but here's where I don't agree with that strategy. Like I said in my update this morning, Melody is the type of player that really makes decisions based off of logic and numbers, and they know that they have the numbers right now. She sees that they have the numbers right now. She is offering herself on a silver platter, to where with Lyric, how are you going to manipulate someone that just doesn't care about this game? They're going to do whatever they want to do. Melody has even said that Lyric doesn't really care if she's here or back in Hawaii. Someone like that is not as beneficial. They're actually more of a threat, because you never know what they're going to do. There's no way for you to try and control them or sway them. She doesn't even really give a lot of personal information, not even game information. So it's you can't even really relate to her on a personal kind of level. Melody is just someone that you can start to work with. It's only week 2. I do believe that she was being very sincere in her pitches to Devins, because she knows that Devins is also working with 2 of the people that she is actually still closest with, being Drew and Camus. So this is such a big misstep in my opinion. On top of that, there was another comment in my video earlier today asking about voting scenarios and if they really actually have the numbers locked down without Melody's promised vote. Because Melody and Mallory were just talking on the live feeds, and Melody, because Devins has now told people what his plan is, and Melody was basically telling Mallory, here's the deal. I had promised my vote for voting out Rome, but that was only if he used the veto on me. I can vote whoever I want to. And Melody and Mallory are talking about how they don't trust Rome or Jason, either one, but they trust Rome enough right now to know that he would not nominate them on the block. To where with Jason, they don't know that. They have no idea who Jason would consider putting up on the nomination block. So today, Melody and Mallory in a Jason versus Rome situation would vote out Jason. And Rome knows Jason's secret about being on Drag Race, and he also knows that Jason was doing some pitching of his own these last couple days to get the veto used on him. I would not be surprised at all if Rome doesn't start letting people know that Jason is also an icon himself, which is then going to turn more people against him. And then if we talk about the voting scenario between Rome and Melody, there are so many guys in this house that just want to bro it out. They want the guys to stick around. They want the guys to work together. And regardless of their alliance, I think that there are definitely some guys between now and Thursday that could end up changing their mind about a Rome and Melody situation to just keep Rome around. So I don't know. I don't think that it is a guarantee in this moment that Rome leaves. So the veto ceremony did take place today, and as unfortunately expected, Devins did use the power of veto to save Lyric and then nominated Rome in her place. As of right now, who knows where the votes are going to be. In a bit of good news, though, if you like the stupid light, if you like the messiness of any Big Brother season, I did just hear them say that there is a lockdown starting tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So these people are about to be locked inside the Big Brother house, no access to the backyard until after HOH competition on Thursday night. And them being locked inside the house together, on top of each other, not able to escape each other, is always a cause for chaos. So I'm happy.